Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the farm. We're still kicking. It's actually nice today, almost 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a lot better than -10 we had recently. But next week they're talking -25 Fahrenheit, so short-lived. I got some parts. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the cab, fix it up like you remember, guys. I left off last time. It needs a little TLC still, so let's go take a look. Yeah, you remember that thing? Not that thing. That thing. I got a new one. It wasn't cheap, but I got a new one. We're gonna throw it in, as well as I got a headliner. And then leg arms is feeling better. He's on the up and up, and he says he wants to tackle the Big Bud next. So I'll get this done, and then we'll start that Big Bud. Finish getting that thing put back together again, get it out of the building, and bring the other one in because we got more work to do. Sound good? Let's get to it. All right, original console assembly, missing this much. New console assembly. Look at the color difference between these two. Pretty sure this was the original color. Now that's what happens over time with oil, grease, dirt, dust, and sunshine on it, because it's been outside a lot. Let's swap everything over from this to this, get this installed, and then I'll tackle that headliner. It's gonna look nice from the inside at least, right? You know, usually you want your vehicle to look nice on the outside because no one really sees the inside when you're driving it, but out here, no one gets to look at the outside because we're out in the middle of nowhere. So I'd rather have the inside look nice. No, I'm joking. We're gonna paint it. We'll paint it eventually. It'll look good on the outside soon. There we go. She's all together, but it actually didn't come with that little cover there, so I had to use the old door, which fortunately I had it. But I tried heat gun, I tried cleaning up, and I just don't think I can get that original color back. But that is the original color. So that's okay though. It's a lot better than it was. And it's together. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Missing this switch. The wiring's inside, but it's all taped up, so I'll have to track that down. That awkward cover kind of contrasts a little bit with these, so you know what, we're good there. But overall, not bad. Now for the headliner. It's the foam is glued to, I think, the original headliner frame, but I got to take off the speakers and I got to take off all your AC and heat controls to get to that, to find out where that's at. But once that's in, that'll make a big difference. Let's get to it. Got the headliner output. Oh, I think half the earth fell down from the ceiling. The amount of dirt that was tucked up under there was a mess. I'm gonna blow it out. All right, well, I blew it out pretty good. I think it's the new one just slips up in there. There's little grooves that slides in, and then they got some angle iron on this side that anchors that corner up, and then it just stays up there. So the speakers, they've seen better days. These aren't even factory anyways. The previous owner put these in, but they're a Rampage, I think is what they're called. Yeah, they're shot. So I'll dig around at the back. We might have some speakers I can throw in it. If not, we'll just have to have empty speaker holes for the time being. I don't even know if the radio works. I don't think I've ever turned it on. Typically we don't use the speakers internally on these old things. We just put wireless earbuds in. So not a big deal, but this is gonna be a long process of slowly fixing this thing up. Just looking at this tractor, the fiberglass hood on the top's all cracked and chipped. Paint's all flaking off and chipped on the sides. We're missing one of the side panels of the front of the hood here. The previous owner, I think, took it off and they put this loader on, and they never sent it with the tractor when we bought it. So there's a lot of things I got to track down and slowly do. So this isn't going to be an overnight process, but you know what? These little things will make a big difference, this tractor, because we use it. We use it quite a bit. So that's okay. Leg arms will be happy. He'll be proud of me, I think. Yeah, he will. There we go. All right, headliner's in. I got speakers on order. When they come, I'll put them in. The console assembly all together. There's the switch missing there and a cover missing over there and stuff. But overall, it's night and day compared to what it was. So yeah, that's good. That's good. We're liking this. Leg arms is back. He's actually over the lathe right now working. That's good. Poor kid was so sick, but he is back in the shop, which means the big things are going to start happening again, like putting that tractor back together again. So that's next. I'm going to go park this tractor until the next time, but it's going to slowly get upgrades here and there.
I'm back, guys. But I'm feeling it. To give you guys a little idea of what's going on, I've been sick for 2 weeks. Like, the sickest I've ever been in my entire life. The first week was pretty miserable. Had a lot of problems, and then I thought I might have something wrong with my lungs, and so I called the hospital and gave them my symptoms, and they said you need to go in right away. Of course, it was a Sunday, which means I had to pay a little bit more, but went in there and come to find out I got COVID, and it literally knocked me flat on my butt. I've never slept so much, coughing, little blood coming out of my lungs. I lost my voice. I couldn't eat. I was throwing up. I've lost 15 pounds, and there's a lot of other things too, like cold sweats, hot sweats, whatever you want to call them. Like wake up in the middle of the night, my bed is drenched. I mean, it was pretty rough. And so anyways, I'm making an effort to go over here to the shop and try to start fixing things with Nick and Dad, and maybe we can get that bud together. But I'm a little bit out of breath, very weak. So anyways, that's basically what's happened to me for the past 2 weeks. I'm not looking for sympathy. Don't need it. Just letting you know that I acquired COVID and it knocked me flat on my butt. But I need to get something done. So before we can put the tractor together, this is, it was cold, it was in the freezer, I took it out. This is the bushing that needs to go in the center. And this right here is what holds that drive line support bracket all together. Well, it's all wore out and oblong. And I need to find, and I think what I'm going to use is a hydraulic cylinder. We've got scrap pieces laying over here. And I need to make a new one of these for this. So let's see if we can find the right size diameter and use the lathe and make a piece. Yesterday, I was only in here for maybe an hour and a half, if that. Just wasn't feeling very good, so I went home to relax. But today went back at it. I did not have a very good inch drill bit to drill the center of this hole, so I had to go in town, and $60 later to get an inch drill bit, I got that punched through, which means the bolt can slide in and out. Awesome. Now the problem that I had with this hydraulic cylinder is the outside diameter was it was close, but it was just a tiny bit too big. So I actually cut the outside down, polished it up pretty good, and if you look closely, here's the bushing that I need to worry about. Just slides up and down on it perfectly. Because it does have to move up and down a little bit in case of the back or the inside of the pivot point of the tractor. If it goes up and down, it's, you know, all that. Anyways, let's just say it needs to move. But here's the original piece that's all wore out, and as you can tell, there's threads that they cut in it. Well, they want those threads so that the grease can shove up and around and it'll lubricate this. So I need to cut some threads on this, and my plan is to bolt it solid with a bolt, set it up in the lathe, put a live center on it, set up my threads depending on how many threads per inch I want to go, and I'll probably do a pretty wide one. So I'll set that up and then cut some new threads on it, and then once I get that done, this should be able to go back on the tractor.
All right, we're back at the Bud. Leg arms, who is better now. Put the snapper again, so we're getting ready to put that center spherical bearing in. And we've been making some parts on the lathe. Leg arms has. There's the spherical bearing that's gonna go in. So we'll put that all together and then get basically ready to put the two big ones in. And then when we're done with that, we can start pushing this thing back together. It's not going.
It's going crooked.
That's pretty good. That's good. So we had this cockeyed a little bit, so that way you can get access to the bolt. But now we'll line it up straight, and I'll run the jack here back and forth, lift it up and down, and he'll put the bolt in, and we can get to start threading the threads in the bottom of this unit. We'll squeeze it up tight, and then it'll be there for the next 40 years.
So when I was trying to make this, the timing got off on the threads. Nick saved it. He managed to mess around with the lathe and clean up the grooves a little bit. But it's that time where we're ready to, since we got the bushing in, now we can put this in and lock that cross member together where the driveline goes, and then we'll put the other ones in, put the tractor together. Fun.
I can see where it cut a little bit with the plasma cutter right here, or the torch.
Oh, I did.
But that's fine, it's not gonna be a problem. And then a little bit right there. Actually, is that the grease? That's the greaser. I should...
Yeah, you want the grease?
Yeah, let me just make sure it's grease. So that's called a honer. You actually use that for cylinders, like pistons in an engine, the cylinder walls. And it just takes microscopic layers of material off and hopefully gets rid of any vertical grooves in a cylinder, so that way you don't lose compression. But for something like this, helps take the burrs off, so works pretty good.
So when you're putting these in, this is a greaser hole right here. We got to make sure that we line that up so it will shove grease right into it.
There my finger is.
Okay.
She's cold. We didn't heat any of the bottom up down here. If we would have gotten a rosebud torch and cooked on that for a while, I'm sure that would help. But we're gonna try it, see how far we get. What's the worst could happen? Destroy a $200 bearing. There you go. Yeah, she's going. Okay, I think you need to hit closer to your side. Oops. There you go. It looks like it's cockeyed a little bit. It needs to go more towards the front. Okay, ready? So it needs hit right here real hard. Yep. There we go. Okay, it just fell in place.
Looks like we're bottomed out.
Okay, let's do a grease check. Okay, we're gonna see if make sure grease comes out. Actually, I won't be able to do that unless let me turn this way. Oh, there we go. Grease is coming out. Perfect.
What we could do is turn the snap ring around to that burr.
Right there. It's better. I think it's in.
Okay.
It's not coming out. All right. Spherical bushing number 1 of the 2 big ones is in.
Now the fun one on the top.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a little more interesting. But taking grease, snap rings are in, it's in place, and you shouldn't ever have to replace that for 40 years. Bam, bam, bam.
Now we got to put this top one in. So I'll go to the freezer, go grab it out of it, and we'll put that one in. A little chilly. Okay. Like we did before, make sure we line up the grease zerks so that way we don't cause any problems. Grease zerk lined up.
You might want to, I can't, let me climb up here if I can see it. Yeah.
Yep, it's lined up.
Really? Just kind of lightly eyeballed it. Yeah, that's good. Up here. Okay, my side. Cap. Oh.
I was trying to be careful.
Yeah, you're good. You got pretty close. More.
Yeah, gotta go a little more.
There it goes. Yeah, it went down some more. Goldfish check. Ooh. That one's got a crazy growth on it. What in the world? There we go. Look at that thing. It's got like a tumor on him or something. Scott, come look at this.
Oh, that's nasty. That's disgusting.
Does Mom and Dad know about that?
Yeah, I don't know what to say, but that goldfish, his condition seems fishy. I don't know.
It was just a matter of time. Now to protect those spherical bearings or bushings, they had these foam spacers, this little metal pipe with a piece of foam around it. And that's what they used to keep the dirt and dust from getting inside there and working its way into those spherical bearings. And I didn't have any foam to make new ones because these things are pretty toast and the bottom actually were ripped off and missing. But I did just do a Magnum interior, and this was the rear fire or rear wall behind the seat. Nice big piece of heavy foam. So I'm gonna make some new ones out of that. We're gonna go ahead and push this thing together. I think we got it ready. Had to lift the center jack up. It sunk down a little bit over the, 2 weeks this thing's been sitting here. So leg arm's gonna get in the TV380, and it should have enough traction, hopefully, being that it's about, 10,000 pounds or something like that. He'll push on the back of the bumper or the drawbar support, and he'll shove it in, and I'm just gonna talk to him on the radio here. Then we just gotta raise and lower the center of this and get the pins in. doing is he's rocking the driveline back and forth, and he's causing the axle to run the tires back and forth, and hopefully take the center hinge and go like that. Trying to get a line that just pokes that pin drops through, and it's so close, but it's just not going through. The orbital bushing might be just slightly turned, and so it's having to force that bushing to turn straight so the pin can go through. I think that's what we're running into. We'll get it. It's just going to take a lot of just tweaking. I think that's it. One down. One to go. So we've got both floor jacks with pipes pushing up on this piece here. This can go up and down, this centerpiece, because we're trying to lift this up just enough so we can shove the first shim underneath there. Then we'll let it down and then put the top shim in.
So we have the bottom pin in. The drawbar still needs to go on. The top pin is almost all the way through. Nick's just jacking it all the way to the top. Yeah, I'd say the tractor for the most part is back together. We just have to basically tighten up the big nuts and put the driveline on the drawbar, not driveline. Okay, oh yeah, we do have the driveline. But anyways, sweet. There you go, now try it. Okay, it's going all the way through.
Okay, you can let all the weight off the center dad. I'm gonna take the weight off the front jack. All right, it's drawbar time.
That's a little safer this time. It's nice to have extra people here when you're doing a very crucial heavy drawbar that likes to crush arms. So now what we got to do is we got to add some shims right there with some of that foam pad. Lift the drawbar up, put that bottom plate underneath, and bolt it up. It wraps around here, and then it goes up in there.
Goes all the way around?
Get wrapped around because it's got to be able to twist back and forth.
So like this?
Yep.
Okay, we've got the drawbar on, and everything's tightened up under there. A lot of grease just went into everything. It took a lot of grease because we had to fill grease in the cavities that have been, well, wasn't greased for a while. But we still got to put the drive line on. That's not on yet. All these hydraulic lines and everything, and some of the electronics for the auto steer system got to be turned or tightened up, put together. Fuel lines got to be tightened up. And then the trickier part's putting the valve body, the hydraulic valve body under the cab, back in its spot. And Leggarms took that out the first time and he's good at putting that in, so we'll leave that up to him. So here's the stands that we used. That was the front one I made to hold the front of the tractor from just shaking and rocking. There really wasn't a whole lot to it. It wasn't really lifting much, it was just stabilizing it. This is the center one that Leggarms built to support the back of the front half of the tractor. And then that's that hitch that we just quickly rigged up to slide the back. So if anybody needs to split a tractor, preferably a Series 3 525/50 Big Bud, let us know. cleaning the shop with leg arms. Happy New Year, guys. God bless. We'll see you in the next one.